some soccer!
And now the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office on behalf of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency at 1130. Go! At 1130.
They've done it! They've done it! It's Maguire Drew! They've done it against this team!
Grimsby are heading back to the Football League.
Love it.
Good evening, all. We are back. It's great to see you all. We will be talking about our romp against Crypto Crawley. We'll do a bit of a preview on Stockport. But before that, Sam's having a couple of technical issues, but that's not a problem because back from the dead, Ian is with us. It's great to see you. Great to see you finally got a day off work and they're not making you do the hard yards. How is everything? It's been a long time.
Yeah, all good, mate. I had to, pop back on when we win a game at home, didn't I? I couldn't be doing the boring draws or anything like that.
Well, that's what I thought. I mean, it's a bit like Stockport County. Now, some would say I got the fixture list all wrong, and I assume we were playing them last week. Others would say, i.e., me, that they were too scared to actually come on when they were getting hammered. But they are here, and I guess is this the first time you've been on all season?
Yeah, it will be. I think I did the end of the season broadcast, and this will be the first one since then. So it's probably about the first one for about 4 or 5 months.
That's amazing. That really is. I mean, what are your thoughts, Solo? Let's get your whole sort of, how many games into the season are we? What, 9? It's
10 or 11.
I mean, if it's 10, it works out perfectly. Hang on, one moment, please, while we do the whole Google thing. League 2 table. How many games have we played? We've played more than 10.
We played 12.
We've played 12. So your usual, 12 game review.
Quarter of the season.
Exactly a quarter of the season. How you think things have been going? And I'm going to join Sam in. It might be a quick one because if he's still sounding like a robot, he'll be in and out. Hello, Sam. You all right?
Hello. I'm on my phone now, so is it any better than it was previously?
That is perfect.
Grand. Right, because I've only got a small percentage, so it might be a short-lived thing anyway. Right. Anyway, sorry to interrupt you. Sorry to interrupt you.
So, what have your thoughts been of the season so far, Ian? What's your overall consensus of it, really?
So far, is pretty much the same as I was saying at the start of the season. Nice and solid at the back. Mainly, we've had a couple of little shaky moments in the last, 3 or 4 matches. We are, unfortunately, without McAtee, not going to score enough, I don't think, for us to push towards right into the playoffs. But we'll have a nice, solid season, and we'll have one which, for a change, will be... I don't quite understand that. Is that a fat joke at me already, Alex, following on from your normal ones?
No, it's just we're scraping the bottom of the content barrel, so we're going through sort of the best restaurants and stuff in there.
Oh, okay. Well, I shared my little bit of Mark Lewis knowledge before, didn't I? So I'm all exhausted.
You'd never been, wasn't it?
No, it was the team was in there, wasn't it? Carlisle, I think it was when it was.
Oh, that was it. That was it.
No, but we're just unfortunate. We'll have a nice solid season, and hopefully, in relative terms, it'd be nice to have a boring one, wouldn't it? Without having to worry about going down or panicking about going up in July the 3rd or whatever it was that we finally went up last season. So,
sounds
nice
boring.
good one of consolidation, build again, and go again next year.
Sounds well boring. Where's your sense of drama? It was at this time last year that Paul Hurst's team took a dive of Tom Daly-esque fashion.
Yeah,
so, something to liven it up.
I don't know if we've got any right backs that go drink driving this year that might upset the team spirit or anything like that. Are we allowed to say that? I don't think that's live.
I mean, it's live. So you've said it.
You've said it now. You're committed.
I'll back
he was allegedly a right back. Did I get it right? We're covered. He was allegedly a right back. But yeah, we didn't have any sort of disruptions to squad harmony, shall we say?
No. I think with this year, as I say, listen, I might be wrong. We might, if we can stay in touch when McAtee comes back in January, just give us a little bit of a spark, then we might push on, but it would be a bit of a monumental effort in the last 7 or 8 games.
Adam asking the real serious questions is whether or not we will have a serious replacement for McAtee when we're in League One next season, which is, a valid question. Do you think, Adam, Adam, do you think we'll finally get Bogle back? Is basically the question, is it? Sam, what we got? So let's go into it. Grimsby Reaper strikes again. The third manager to be sacked after our just 5 wins this season.
We've already won 5 games. We've got 3 managers sacked.
That is a hell of a sack to win ratio at Town.
I remember reading in Simon Jordan's book that it was only when they were losing at half-time at home to us that he went into the dressing room as Crystal Palace owner. So there's obviously something about us which is kind of, if you lose to us, it's some kind of awful, evil, kind of demonic complex that perpetrates people's bodies, and you have to kind of get rid of everything because everything must be completely wrong if you lose to Grimsby Town. I'm kind of not surprised they sacked him, to be honest. That they looked like relegation fodder, to be frank with you. They passed it around quite nicely without very rarely threatening. The ghost goal, you can argue about the rights and wrongs, whether it was offside as much as you like. The reality was we created that for them with Waterfall's awful clearance onto Smith's bont that then deflected away. And then when the second goal went in, they just crumbled mentally. You could see that we had no issues after that. The keeper was awful. Genuinely one of the worst keepers I've ever seen at League 2 level, apart from maybe Crew's keeper in the League Cup earlier in the season. But they're going to have to kind of work. Crawley looks a poor side to me, if that's what you're asking.
Well, I don't, and I do disagree. I thought they were pretty good, and I think they were. I can only judge them on what we see. Granted, I will hold my hands up now. I've got a bit of a Legends sort of a cinemas relationship with Kevin Betsy because my wife is a Woking fan, and he's a born legend there. So I've got a bit of a thing for him, but I thought they were all right, and I think they should feel hard done by yesterday. I think it was as once of this parish, Mr. Sargent said that it was a pretty favourable win, and the scoreline flattered us. I don't know, what did you think, Ian?
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
Scoreline definitely flattered us, but I don't think they were that great either, if I'm honest. I mean, yes, their only real chance in the first half we created for them. They had a few moments of pressure that I'm just trying to think of. Really, other than that, their chances came pretty fortuitously. So there was one really good save from Crocombe, that Crocombe made from Tilly, where it looked like it was a foul on the edge of our box and we all stopped. And then late on at 2-0 and 3-0 up, I think they flashed a couple across the 6-yard box. But as much as anything, by that point in time, we were comfortable. I just thought with them, they looked poor. Considering at the start of the season, a lot of people were touting them to be promotion favourites, especially after they signed Telford. But barring Telford, and I thought their centre-half was decent, Lynch, he looked decent, although he spent most of the game arguing with his own team and the ref. Probably should have got a red card, in fairness. Other than that, I didn't see anybody in their team that stood out and did anything at all, really, for me.
No, I'd kind of flip round what you said, Alex, is that the scoreline flattered us. Yeah, so that was, for me, in the first half in particular, I thought that was the worst half we'd played this season, bizarrely enough, and yet we still beat them 3-0. That doesn't say very much about them, in my opinion.
I'm not here to defend Crawley. I'm just saying I thought Naddison for them had our guys on the plate at times in that first half. I thought the first half was really poor. I think we had quite a lot to deal with, and it was all Crawley could feel really hard done by not going into that a goal or sort of at least level with us at half time. Given where they are, I don't think they played like they were a team 19th to 20th. They played a lot like us, a team who were quite comfortable in possession, not really sort of offering much up front, and looked a bit blunt. And I thought that's where they were. I didn't think they were a team sort of bound for relegation, and I don't think they will do, which is a shame because the crypto stuff is laughable.
To be honest, it was actually the bluntness that surprised me, because I think when I look back through the stats, they'd scored in most games in the lead up to us. And obviously, as we say, they've got Telford, who did well last year and is up there again this season, I think. But yeah, I didn't really see anything from them at all. And like Sam said, their keeper was absolutely awful. I've seen a few comments from their fans actually about Glennon's free kick, where they're saying that's the third or fourth one they've conceded this season, exactly the same, where the keeper's gone across and just stood and watched it fly into the corners.
And Glennon's hardly David Beckham, is he, from that sort of position? So I've never seen him threatened from that position before. So
it was a good free kick, but it was definitely, he seemed to take 2 steps and then go, I'm not getting there. I think if you show the still that Grimsby Town put up on Twitter, as it's sort of crossing the line, he's just stood watching it, probably about an arm's length away from it. So it was just really strange. And even with his feet, he was pretty poor as well, to be honest. But I don't think they'll go down, but 3-0 flattered us because we didn't show an awful lot by the same measure. Although, having said that, if we could do something down our right-hand side yesterday, we'd have probably racked up 5 or 6, to be quite honest, because Kiernan doesn't, in the last couple of games, look like the player he did in the first few matches. He was really, really off it. Definitely a few moments where he needed just to react that bit quicker or drive at the goal or play the ball earlier. Just looks like he's doubting every decision he's trying to make at the moment.
Their keeper thing is quite interesting because from all intents and purposes, from what I could see from their guys, they've loaned out their sort of solid stance, sort of steadfast keeper to another team in League Two, and they've got this guy in instead, and he's getting pelters, and he didn't look incredible. Could have probably done better with Holohan's, though it probably made it more spectacular. I don't know, that their third, the third that we scored would probably have summed up our season in sort of 2019, 2020, 2-on-1 with Peppel. Let's face it, it is Peppel, and he's come out of it, like a daddy long legs who's been able to push the fly on, and Taylor's gone Tarver. It's kind of almost what you want, isn't it? You go, Peppel does all the hard work and gets the ball up, and it gets finished by Taylor, who will at least put it on target.
It's the way that Taylor was almost apologetic to Peppel straight afterwards was quite funny, to be fair.
If I was Peppel, I'd have bundled him over.
Taylor went to run away and celebrate, and then went, better not. Might just go and congratulate Peppel for that one, to be fair.
That's just the sort of thing that goes against you, though, isn't it, when you're struggling? I mean, it reminded me, bizarrely enough, that kind of, you're going to think I'm mad here, of just before Christmas in our relegation season, we lost 3-1 at Southend, and Sam Russell let the ball kind of skirt. It sort of was a non-header that was straight at him. It just went in between. It just went in between his legs, and he just and it was just. I remember I was sitting there with my dad watching it, and we both had our heads in our hands, just to kind of. There was an indisputable consensus, unspoken, that we were going down, and that's what that reminded me of. It's kind of one of those things that happens to relegation teams. I mean, it was a non-situation that they made a complete Horlicks of.
It's my little theory. If it can be called a theory, that the two most basket case clubs off the pitch tend to be. I'm wrong, because they certainly seem to be heading that way. Then, if that's the sort of thing,
you mean like Scunthorpe and Oldham, for example?
Yeah, or Town, or Town, or whoever else came down with us, who I forget entirely.
It was Southend.
Who got relegated?
It was Southend.
That was it. There you go. Proper bottle, like just absolute chaos. Ian, who's been your standout for the season so far? I thought Holohan had a good game. I saw others talking about a few other teams as well that had done so, players that had done so. But I think if Holohan's playing well, then we're playing well. And I think he was a bit of a cog in the middle of the park yesterday. Maybe I'm.
For me, Clifton's been a standout for us so far this season. Started obviously the season out playing wide left. When we brought in a couple of players or a few players got fit, looked like he was going to lose his spot, and then to essentially dislodge Green and Morris, who both started the season well in midfield, to be one of the two playing in there, and even keeping Hunt out the side yesterday as well, of course. And I thought he was excellent in there yesterday. A lot more understated in what he did compared to Holohan, but got in and broke up an awful lot and allowed Holohan to do that role where he likes to get a bit box to box. So, yeah, I've been impressed with him. Taylor as well, another one who I think is a bit understated. He gets a lot of stick, but a lot of the time he's been battling 2 or 3 up there. And to be fair, I actually think that part of the issue with Taylor is that we could probably look to tweak it slightly since we've lost McAtee. We've tried to shoehorn somebody into playing the same role as McAtee rather than actually getting somebody a little bit higher up the pitch.
Are you going for Football Manager, big man, little man?
Yeah, basically, yeah. Now, I think Richardson has done well when he's played off Taylor, but I'd like to see him actually play more with him and just to see if he can have that, because he looks like he's got something about him, Richardson. I wouldn't be surprised if he went on to have a good career based on what I've seen of him in the, 3, maybe 4 matches I've seen him play so far. Just be nice to see him push forward. And Otis Khan as well, but a little bit off it. It's certainly in the first half yesterday, he was a bit off it. That might just be because he's had a lot of minutes since coming back from injury, but in the games that he's played, he's definitely got something. You can tell that he's one of the players in the team that spent a lot of time playing league football, whereas obviously a lot of the players have flitted between the leagues, so to speak.
When he's on the half turn, it's exciting.
That little turn he did yesterday, and it's a shame that his shot got blocked straight afterwards, but I think somebody's put it up on Twitter. The little flick inside and turn looked like he was going to hit that first time then to bend in the far post. It just got a block on it. But he's definitely got something that will be important for us later on in the season.
Can I show you guys an incident that I mentioned on the podcast Twitter account, which I don't think I might be wrong. I thought Taylor could have been in a bit of trouble with this one. So he comes over and the guy goes and he swings properly, quite violently back at the guy behind him. I don't know about you. Now the guy I think feels it on his shoulder, so goes down like a sack of shit. But if he'd have held his dive for half a second, I think he'd have got clattered quite roughly around the head. And I know Taylor's got a bit of a shearer elbow, but I don't know. I just thought that was a bit lucky on our part. I don't know.
I think it's one of them that it's probably harsh if it gets given, but you can understand why it gets given, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I just don't see the need. It's not like I could understand if he's been held and then that grip breaks, and so then the momentum just takes it around it quite. But it seemed to come from nothing. Marinahoda says it's all the padding from all the Under Armour. John Lewis said Taylor should have been sent off and a pen. It was just a surprise. It was one that I mentioned. It's like, oh, I mean, that I would have sent that off for violent conduct if I'd have seen it in that sort. And I think the ref might have done. But and it would have been a pen as well, obviously. So
I much preferred your content about the ball boy giving it large when the goal got disallowed. That was far better social media content.
Shall I tell you something? And I'm really disappointed in Mariners TV. It's great, but the problem with it, unlike iFollow, is I can't pick and choose where I want it. I get a 12-second gap to go back and watch it. So I didn't get the best of it. So that ball boy went absolutely mental, and then was also doing the whole cup in his ears at their players, like looking them right in the face. He was brilliant. And then Mike said apparently there's a bit of a content of him just sat there eating quavers as well. I want that lad. This sounds wrong, but we should have had a camera on him the whole game, because I think we'd have got entertainment for the whole 90 minutes. Because, I mean, that lad needs to be on the sidelines more. It was brilliant.
What, giving it Chelp every time they get a throw in or something?
Oh, yeah, and let's talk about their disallowed goal, because it was weird. Ian, what did you see of it, and what did you make of it? I thought it was I thought it was legitimate. He wasn't offside when the ball was delivered in. I was sad enough to go look back. And then I thought it was just a bit of ping pong ball and, pinball and hit us and was in. I don't know. What did you think?
Well, to be fair, you've just answered the only thing that I thought it could have been. So where I am is probably sort of halfway in the main stand up towards the Osmond. So
Party army.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we're the noisy ones, yeah. Or as somebody said on Twitter, we wouldn't even be loud even if he gave us tannoys. I saw that one yesterday or something. But it looked, the only thing we could guess from where we were was he offside on the first ball? And then after Waterfalls cleared it, they decided that he's active because Waterfalls had to clear it. But although that isn't technically the rule, but let's be honest, refereeing at that level at our level doesn't necessarily follow what the actual rules are at times. But then I guess, did it take a deflection as it came off Smith's face back towards?
Maybe. We've got two different opinions here. So Mariner Hoda says, I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but I guess the level of refereeing makes sense as to why it wasn't given. Burn. And then John Lewis said, I thought it was legit and surprised that a ref actually bothered to consult a linesman and changed his mind. Quaver Ball Boy was better. Well, Mike, you didn't record it, mate. You didn't record it. Yeah, it was a strange one. And, it was a bit of relief, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was a bit like that thing at Salford a few years ago because the players had all gone to line up on the centre circle to kick off, and then the ref has a word with his mate and disallows it. One thing I would say, if that was us, if the situation had been inverted, we would have been furious with it. We would have been. The first thing we'd have talked about tonight would have been giving the ref, how dare he go speak? He should be stronger. Blah 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 blah. I forget whether he's offside or whatever. I thought he was offside at first, and I thought it was the right decision come to in a rather clumsy manner. But I've since seen it back, and I agree with Ian. I
think, what was Ian's point? Have I not listened to it? I thought he didn't know.
Oh, sorry, not Ian, Alex. Oh, bloody hell.
I'll take it.
That's still a position. I don't know. It's still a very valid position.
I meant Alex. I don't know why I said Ian.
You never agree with me. It'll always go wrong. God, don't do that. So comfortable 3-0 win. Wasn't expected. First win of the season. Were we surprised it's taken this long to get our first win at home? And obviously we got tough games coming up. So it was probably very much needed, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. But from the other home games, we've had two where we went behind and deservedly went behind and then decided to go for it in the last sort of 15, 20 minutes. But we've also had, I think, the Northampton match, for example. We were much the better side against them and got done a little bit unluckily with one mistake. And I can't remember who our first home game in the season was. It was Northampton, yeah. Yeah, and then there was another game where I felt we were a little bit unlucky on the same measure as well, where we made another just a simple mistake and we got punished for it. So, it's probably a little bit unjustified. I mean, you only have to look at our away form to know that we're a decent side, and we're going to keep. I said at the start when you asked me after 12 games, we're going to keep things tight this year, and we're going to challenge most teams in this league. It's just whether we've got enough going in the other direction to take our chances when we're on top.
I think there's enough there collectively. Yeah. If you can't, when everyone's fit, if you kind of throw in Scannell, McAtee, JMD, Otis, Richardson, I think there's enough threat there. But whether that kind of can simultaneously be available is a bit of a moot point. And it does come back a little bit, I think, to Hursty's, the fundamental way Hursty sets his teams up, which is suited to away. Stay in the game, stay tight. When we're at home and teams come to park the bus against us, it's an awful expression, but we do have problems just because of we're not intrinsically set up to kind of go for teams. Even though, despite the fact we played 4-4-2 yesterday, we were a little bit cagey. It's difficult to switch on and off. And I think you'll probably see that throughout the season. We'll win a lot of games away from home by the odd goal, but we'll have a lot of games, frustrating games at home.
It's Yeah, I don't know. I think there's opportunities there for the team to play at the sort of a wider scope of football, and I think there are opportunities for us to break out of it. I think the right needs, obviously. I mean, we don't need to keep going on about it, but I think that's going to be looked at over the winter, over the January break to see if we can improve it. Whether it be Kiernan, because he'll be going back to Walsall anyway, because that's when his loan spell ends, or whether it's going to be looking at an opportunity for either a Fete or Cropper to say come in, or looking at alternative replacements. But maybe even Ryan Bennett, Ian?
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I've seen the fishy thread asking if he can play holding midfield or if he can play up front or anything like that.
Playing goal.
Playing goal. I don't think I'd be a bit harsh on Crocombe, don't you think?
Well, we need a standing. We've got this Partington guy that came in. I saw who was asking about him. Ben Bristow was asking about when we'd signed Partington, and then John Lewis came back very helpfully saying the 27th of September. So, Battersby's gone out on loan. Is he gone to Whitby, is it?
Ilkeston, Bramwell.
Bramley.
Bramwell. He's gone to Whitby.
Well, he's getting at least to get some decent fish and chips while he's there. Mariner Hoda. There's nothing wrong with Whitby. What's controversial about Whitby fish and chips?
It's in Yorkshire.
Ian, set this guy straight. Magpie Cafe is the only other place outside of Grimsby that you should legitimately look forward to buying fish and chips from, in
Alex,
my opinion.
You are asking somebody to back you up who is allergic to fish and doesn't eat fish.
That's true, but you did send me a load of fish.
I am currently working for a company trying to launch an online fish business, yes. So I did pack and send you some fish, absolutely.
I've got to be honest, I've never received fish by DPD before. It was it was amazing. It's like trying to get I had to message my neighbour going, look, there might be a bag there. I've put a cold box outside. If it's there, can you throw it in there? Like, what have you brought? Organs? No, it's just a fish. But yeah, much appreciated. Quality control can't be very. That's wrong, Ben. That's mean. Ian is a diligent and hard worker, and he's not on the quality control side of things. Thank God.
He's absolutely not. No, he's on the operations side. It's partly me that's got where we're going with DPD. But you get 36 hours, Alex. You see, I'm going to do my sales pitch now. Grimsby Fish. Anyone listening outside?
Anyway. Sorry, we lost Ian there.
I thought you got rid of him for doing an ad.
No. We're not the BBC. Talk about what we want.
Thank God.
Yeah, we don't need any right-wing nut jobs on here. Andrew Niles said, we've got a person here that believes the earth is round, but for balance, we've got someone who believes the earth is flat, which is helpful for Nigel Farage because you can see the immigrants from very far away. Whitby tried to pass Cod off. Oh, right, okay, Andrew, I'm very much then on your cut. Then that's absolutely fine.
What's
that?
I accept your apology. They take the skin off. They try and pass Cod as haddock. I mean, what more evidence do you want that it's a kind of fake fish
I mean,
place?
that is a hate crime. Ben Bristow said, I can't say I've ever had fish delivered by DPD, but I had well, I didn't read all of that. It cut off the bottom of it. He said you had I thought it said you had the cat clap delivered by DVD, which is entirely different. Well, we're losing concentration already.
That was trapped.
Yeah, exactly. Let's talk about what restaurants haven't we done in Grimsby yet? Ian, what do you think is the best reviewed restaurant on TripAdvisor for Grimsby and Cleethorpes?
Is this a genuine question? Am I expected to try and guess on this?
Go on, have a go. The football stuff's boring. Let's have a look, see what we've got. TripAdvisor. You can't Google it. Sam's
it's going to be somewhere relatively.
It's not Papa's.
No, it's going to be somewhere like the Knots or something, isn't it?
Let's have a look. Hang on, I've got to mute Sam because I can hear him tapping for. He's doing some.
I'm
hacking.
I'm just a scoreboard. I'm just scoring. I'm not.
Let's have a look. Top 10. Right, okay, here we go. Top 10 in Grimsby. It says top 10 restaurants. So number 1 with 273 reviews. Who do you think it is? Ollie's saying Sage. Ben's saying Othello's. Is Othello's still going? We will do a Stockport preview, I promise.
Wait, how many reviews? Sorry,
273. Okay. Okay. You're stalling. Tradishis, whatever that is.
Oh,
It's
the
a
pizza place in the town centre.
Is it any good?
It's I've never been.
Okay,
It's,
you got.
It's a takeaway as well, isn't it?
I mean, number 10 on this does not bode well for the town of Grimsby. Okay, out of the top, name me. This is Grimsby, so it's excluding Cleethorpes.
Okay.
Give me who you think would be in the top 10 of this. We've already got Tradicis.
The Wheat Sheaf.
The Wheat Sheaf. The Wheat Sheaf. The Wheat Sheaf is not in it. Actually, it does include. The Bradley is not in it. What, the sizzle thing?
Yeah, the Sizzler.
No, that's not in it. And what is
Tale of
you
Two?
will not?
Is it just Grimsby only?
Oh, do you know what? I don't know because it's also included Steels in here now.
No, it isn't because 12 is Laceby Manor Golf Club.
I would count Laceby as Grimsby. That's fine. But number 10, this is very much a clickbaity thing because it said you won't believe number 10 is Brewers Fair.
On the motorway.
Brewers Fair is number 10. Then it's so it goes Tradici, Sage, Figs. I'm just saying Fez, Pig and Whistle, Steels, Wyber's Chippy, Relish Bar and Kitchen, The Counting House, and Brewers Fair.
And 13 is Papa. And 13 is Papa's.
I like the fact that Brewers Fair is above Papa's.
Yeah, but it's also above the Seaway and the Ocean and Ernie Beckett's, which is a bit of a disgrace.
Oh, well. Look, we're running out of TripAdvisor things now. What else? I don't think there's anything else you can have in Grimsby.
These games have come downhill since the other season, haven't they? Where it was like, well, pick a random game from a random season. How many players can you name? Now,
okay, then.
Name somebody in the top 10 on TripAdvisor.
Okay, top 10 things to do in Grimsby. Well, it's meant to be Grimsby. Top 10 things to do in Grimsby.
People's Park.
Right, People's Park. Bonkers Bank. No, People's Park. People's Park is number 5. Well done.
Time Trap Museum.
Time Trap Museum is number 3.
National Heritage Fishing Centre
is number 1 by and away in the large, but it's 4.5 stars. Anything else?
The Meridian Centre.
That's in That's not in Grimsby. They're doing this. They've divvied this out properly. This one. Yeah, it's not on there. It's not on there.
Sorry, I'm struggling then. Apart, I know Cleethorpes better than I know Grimsby.
Of this parish, Doc Spears is number 2.
Freshly Place will be in there.
Freshly Place is in there. Freshly Place is number 9. Time for Play is number 8, and I'm not clicking that.
I do hope that's an adult. I do hope that's a kids' play centre.
Well, yeah, me too.
Interesting that you went with the phrasing of adult play centre first, though, Sam. What were you?
That Freudian slip. Yeah.
Isn't that just like when they opened up that play castle thing for adults for birthday parties and stuff? Nunny's Farm, Ollie. No. And number 12 is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which is pretty decent. Fine.
Things to do.
I think
number 6 is Haith's Factory Outlet at the Bird Food Centre. I don't even know what that is.
Oh, it's not a million miles away from me, but it is a factory. As far as I'm aware, it's not something that I'd go, let's just nip up to Haith's for a bit.
Is there anything else in here that's worth... Oh, Nunny Farm is 28. So, I mean, you guys have got to push it up because it's only beating off so far the Spider's Web and the County.
Sam's Adult Play Centre again.
We are, yeah, absolutely.
The Adult Child Play Centre.
I like the fact we stopped talking about football and viewers have gone up. Let's just talk about things from the 90s and stuff. And from
I was born in 99. I'll be useless in that conversation.
What's your earliest memory then, Sam? What were the shops you remember as a kid?
Well, I'm not from Grimsby or Cleethorpes. I was brought up in East Yorkshire, so my Grimsby connection comes from my dad's side of my family, who were from the South Bank, in a village called Goxhill, or that they're from. And my granddad was taken by the previous generation, and then granddad took my dad and my auntie. And I was indoctrinated from a young age by my dad, so I have no connection to the area. My first memory of Grimsby Town is being washed out on New Year's Day at half-time at Rochdale in 2005, which kind of set the tone.
That's how, I mean,
next week on DN35 does Who Do You Think You Are?
Yeah, exactly. Ollie Hodson says the drug deals at Grant Thorpe Park are good to watch. Ollie, I was a little Kilby boy who was like, come to the bright lights of Grimsby. And when I was at college, and they took us around on bonfire night at Grant Thorpe Park, and I watched the phone box get blown up by a firework. I wanted to go back to the village.
What a trip out that was on bonfire night. Come on, kids, we're off to Grant Thorpe.
Oh no, I was like, we were at we were at college then, so we're out there. All I remember doing is getting quite drunk and removing all the for sale signs from people's houses along Carr Lane and putting them in different houses. That's how I get my kicks.
Well, you and your wild youth, Alex.
You mean my wild youth? I'd found a trolley because there used to be a spa. You know where the Emmy is, the Empire Pub?
Yeah.
There used to be a spa on that corner, didn't there?
They did.
And I stole a trolley from there, and we took them all and put all the for sale signs in the trolley, and we're walking them up Carr Lane.
Did you go back a few days later and see if they'd been put back?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Ollie says it's reminding how lucky you are to be from Kilby. See, Ollie, the problem is that's how Gary Croft started. I remember not too long ago, Ollie, that the drama in the village of Kilby was that someone kept moving. There is a large plastic cow outside one of the houses near the bus stop, and someone kept moving it, and they kept getting caught on CCTV just carrying this plastic cow drunkenly down the street and putting it in different places. That is what we do for entertainment in a village.
Inconveniencing absolutely nobody, but I bet it was rife all over Kilby.
They probably had a local council meeting about it.
I was brought up in a village and I never did that. I'll be honest, I never ever did that.
You're missing out. Maybe it's just
You've
something
never had
in
a
the
plastic
water.
cow, though, I bet.
Yeah, I know. I mean, who has a plastic cow?
That's what you get for being brought up in Yorkshire, I guess.
You had real cows up there. They're not so easy to move around. They don't stand in one spot either for the morning reveal, which is probably the problem.
What an extraordinary conversation.
See, the trick to moving a plastic cow is do we want to talk about the football anymore? We've got Stockport of the weekend. We do have a preview in a second that we're going to play. But Stockport coming up. Dave Challoner, he's not going to get sacked, is he? Unfortunately,
not if they won at Bradford. No, and by the sounds of it, that guy that we all heard on BBC Radio Manchester saying to get out was one in a minority. So, I mean, it would be lovely. Let's just imagine him losing to us and getting sacked. That'd be quite funny.
Yeah, wouldn't we rather that happen at Bundle Park though?
Yeah, that's true. So you want him now to limp on?
Until
New Year's Day. Park. Literally
at half time,
losing that badly that he goes in at half time and he doesn't come back out.
Like Sam was saying about Simon Jordan, he actually goes down at half time and is escorted Steve Evans-esque like out of the stadium.
Exactly that. Mascara, 4 belts and all.
Oh God.
I don't know what that means.
What, 4 belts?
Four belts
because he needs 4 to go round him.
Do you remember
do you
remember that awful footage of him in the playoff final against Orient again about when he was manager of Rotherham? For I think maybe what Ian's referring to. It was an awful piece of footage.
I don't even know what that is. You're going to have to remind me.
So they beat Rotherham equalised against Russell Slade's Orient in the League One playoff final about 5 years ago, and Steve Evans was Rotherham's manager, and he was bouncing up and down, and he pulled his trousers up after he'd finished celebrating because they'd fallen down. It was the most awful, disgusting piece of television I think I've ever seen.
Oh, it was so disgusting. It freaked Sam out, and he's left. I think that might be his battery's dead, because he did say his phone was sort of like, on the cusp.
But yeah, we need Challoner to limp on. If anything happens bad in his career, it needs to happen at Blundell Park.
You're absolutely right.
On the pitch, comes on to celebrate, and Luke Waterfall thinks that there's a ball there to win. The game's finished 10 minutes ago, but, Luke Waterfall just sees an imaginary ball by his kneecaps or something like that.
Well, you mean like Glennon with that tackle against Carlisle?
Yeah, exactly.
Where it just kept sliding. Simon Hodson wants Martin Pringle to hand him his P45, which would be quite funny. Just do sort of like an Alan Sugar style, you're fired. His phone's died. Sam, let's go with this. Sam, how are you doing? Let's check the audio on this. There isn't any. Okay.
Does he know it's back?
So I'm on my laptop again, which caused all the problems earlier on because my phone's run out of charge.
Well, I can't hear me, so that's pretty good. I mean, that's always good for this podcast. Who have we got next week then, apart from Stockport? Who have we got after that? We got Stockport, then we got Bradford at home.
Bradford at home the following week.
Which is a sellout in the away end, which would be nice.
Yep.
Ian, have you got anything? Sorry.
Sorry.
Have you got anything to wade in on the atmosphere at Blundell Park and whether it needs to be improved? Or do you care?
Yeah, no, I do. I'd love to see a great home atmosphere. The part of the problem is with the best one in the world, and this is not a criticism of the team or anything like that, but when you are
shit.
Yeah. No, but when you are let's be honest, we're a pretty functional side. You aren't going to have enough moments to get the crowd involved and get them going. Now, there's an argument for saying it's the crowd that should get the team going, and I'm fully on board with that as well. But you've got to imagine this season as well. I imagine there's probably quite a few of people who would have been casuals before that are there with the increased season ticket sales and things like that. So, people have got to get used to and into things. And there is the age-old argument about putting corners in on the pontoon. Because where I sit, you can hear a little bit of noise from the pontoon, but you can hear the Osmond clear as day. So there's definitely still that issue to look at trying to sort if we can.
Yeah, I guess the only problem with that is the issue is you then block any ideas of putting seats on the edge of the pontoon, I guess. Ben says Mighty Mariner's back. Did that help? He's had a facelift. He now looks more like an anime character from Japan. I was hoping it was going to be Ryan Bennett really revealing it when he took his hat off. I don't know if anybody else thought that.
What, like when Michael Schumacher revealed himself to be the Stig in Top Gear?
Yeah, and I never hated the Stig more. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. It's nice to have him back. I'd have loved Ryan Bennett to have revealed. I think they missed an opportunity. I think they should have done it anyway, just so he's not signing. He was just the only one around to put the costume on.
Where is he, Alex? Where is Ryan? You brought it to us exclusive last week that he was signing, and he's not here.
I said there was a rumor that he was signing, and for some reason that means that I am now the source of all knowledge on the fishy, which is terrifying for everybody.
It would make a lot of sense, though, to some of the fishy threads if you're the source of all knowledge.
Oh, could you imagine if I'm Felipe Noche? It's just, it's all sort of Inception. John Lewis says the chance. This is the old man thing of I think this is when you're old. This is the kids of my day of Grimsby. So the chants are way too fast, so they don't carry any length of time. So I'm guessing no one bothers singing as they know it will die in a few seconds. And in my day, you used to have to walk to school.
Past the cow in Keelby.
Yeah, past the cow in Keelby, which is where the bus stop is.
The atmosphere, unfortunately, is what it is. As I say, partly
I think it's Bruce's fault.
Area. Yeah, I mean, it's all these London Mariners coming up, according to Bruce. So,
when I was a lad, exactly, John. When you were a lad, the Mariners chant took a whole 35 minutes to finish, from the letter M to the letter R. They'd played a half of football by the time you'd finished it. It's because we're all too busy watching TikTok now. We've got no, concentration span to be able to do a Mariners chant properly.
To fit it into 7 seconds.
People are too busy filming corners and free kicks and penalties. So as a result, there's no atmosphere.
That's it. Ollie said we need a giant metronome. I think we need one of those terrible guys with a microphone at the front, on the goalposts, screaming and leading the way. Maybe we can get Tom to do it. That'd be quite good.
Get Ryan Bennett to do it.
Get Ryan Bennett to do it. Don't start, Sam. Here we go. The atmosphere on FIFA 23 is better. They've even got the fish. Ben, has the fish chant been improved? Because last time it was 3 people chanting fish. So hopefully it's a lot better. It looks a bit weird that when you sort of, get into the Champions League because you've cheated all the way through it, and it's like half time in the Champions League final, and it's 3 blokes chanting fish like they're at Rochdale away. Still the same. Oh, that sucks. It sounds like Scunny at home. We don't need to talk about them.
Talking about Scunny.
Yeah, exactly. Get Wagner back. Ollie's got the right ideas. Get Wagner back. We get Lloyd on doing, Nessum Dawn. What do we come out to now as well, Ian?
That's a good question. I don't really know.
What do we come out to, guys? Who's ever listening? What's our song? Because it used to be, when we're in the Championship, it used to be Fanfare of the Common Man. Now, I know Sam won't like that, but...
Where have you got that from?
But
you learn one thing
that's
about
all I
me,
remember.
You form my entire personality based on it.
Yeah, that's how politics works. Anyway, so I was waving my policy. I
guarantee I'm the only person who does this who works in politics. I am the exception.
I was waving my Palestinian flag and singing "Fanfare of the Common Man."
While on strike.
Yeah, while on strike. It's when I go to all those defence events. It's like, yeah, come here. This one's from Labour.
This used to happen before I came on.
Oh yeah,
we didn't have anybody right leaning.
We never had anyone from. Yeah, it's like having Jeff Norcott on. The one right wing comedian that's allowed on television nowadays.
Just to go back, I mean, we went through a spell of having the Mariners by Pisces, didn't we?
Pardon?
Sorry,
we went through
I
a
didn't catch
spell of having up the Mariners by Pisces.
Yes.
The boys are back in town by Thin Lizzy for a bit.
We did have Thin Lizzy, and we also had one step beyond for a bit.
What, by Madness?
Yeah, we had one step beyond.
Didn't we do Chelsea Beggar for a bit as well?
Probably. We also had
Clubfoot.
Time Is Now or something like that, which was a bit weird. But I don't know. Andrew's saying it's boys are back in town. I hope it is. That's fine. But I don't know. What else can we do? I don't know what Ian. You're the one that is there more often away from home. I just think we need someone to get we just need 15 blokes to get really drunk and start. Not. I think what happens now with our away days is people get too drunk, so they've gone past that point of energy and bouncing around. And I want to kick 7 bells out of a sign to I'm actually quite sleepy.
And I've got to kind of just be quiet so I don't.
Yeah, exactly.
So I can't get kicked out for being drunk and disorderly.
Sarah says, "Can we hire a Marabachi band?" No, we're not doing that again, Sarah. It will end wrong. It was good while it lasted. Maybe a steel band.
It was 3-0. So
best one was ready to go by Republica. Orphan Boy at Home. When do we have that? When do we play them?
Who Orphan Boy? Yeah, they were in our league.
Pump It Up used to be played when I went and I was younger. It was at the Coca-Cola League. Younger, that's younger, is it, Ben? What was the league when you started in? Was it Ensley or Nationwide?
Nationwide. 1997 was my first game.
Yeah, mine was probably Ensley then, like the last year, and then it was Nationwide. Then it was Then it was Coca-Cola, wasn't it?
Can't remember which way around it went, mate. To be honest,
No,
I remember
and then-
mine. Well, I say I remember mine.
Then we quick-
97 against Walsall, and we won 2-0.
And then we quickly lost. Quickly lost interest in what the league was sponsored by after Coca-Cola.
Who are we sponsored by now?
Sky Bet, isn't it?
Sky Bet, of course.
Yeah,
it is.
that's it.
Oh, of course.
I'm glad
'cause
someone.
we're making all the
I'm
money
glad
off it.
someone's. Yeah, that's it. Don't bet now. Bet responsibly. Bet.
Ray Winston on the podcast next week.
Yeah, it's Dave Boylan's floating head telling you the odds at half time.
I had 2 emails, so just on a slightly similar link. I had 2 messages from Bet365 in my account this morning when I logged in. First one was saying, "You seem to log in and bet quite a lot. Do you want to take a break?" Next one was, "We've got a free $5 bet for you. Bet now." Cheers, lads. Yeah, thank you.
Who did you put it on?
I still have it, Alex.
Oh, good. So everyone tell us what you want Ian to put a bet on.
We'll do a huge accumulator for next week.
Challenge to get sacked after next Saturday.
Oh, that would be lovely. Sometime this season, I think is sensible. I don't think he's going to get it this week. And I'm slightly concerned for this one because I think they've got their danders up now and they're sort of starting to click. I was speaking, and you'll all hear it in a second, to Russ from the Scarf Bagara War podcast, and they're like, "Oh, we're looking for a new striker." So hang on, haven't you got like Kyle Wootton and Paddy Madden up front?
And they let Scott Quigley go.
Yes. Where's Scott Quigley now?
Rochdale.
Is he? Ah, well, can we get him at Christmas?
Think, given the fact he went to Rochdale, and I dare say their budget's a lot smaller than ours, given the kind of relative attendances, I suspect if we could have had him in August, we would have been able to.
Yeah. Ollie's.
Now I know what you mean. I mean, I've never seen a player cause water. I didn't see a player cause Waterfall more problems last season than I did at home to Stockport when I used to. Well, was able to go every week last week. Can you remember anybody causing Waterfall as many problems as Quigley did last season?
Waterfall caused his own problems, I think. That was the season before.
Yeah, that's for certain.
Yeah, the lad for from the playoff final did in the game at Blundell Park more than the
Hudlin.
Hudlin, yeah.
Hudlin. He didn't start the game at Blundell Park, did he? He came on,
but
he didn't finish the game on the final line, did he? He kept seeing little Andy Smiths running around his head.
Okay, now can you imagine that? I mean, there's nothing little about
car park.
Punching his FIFA sign.
Yeah, exactly. That was quite funny. If anyone hasn't seen it, there's a video of Andy Smith looking at his FIFA ratings, and he got a bit annoyed and punched it, not knowing that the camera was there. Ollie Hodson says Bennett first goal scorer v Stockport might be a good bet for you, Ian. My dad said we've played well at home and last. I take 3-0 winning, paying poorly. Take what we can. Dad, have you moved seats? I can't see you on the camera now. You're gonna have to tell me. I don't know where you are. And Ben says bet on any team against Celtic or Rangers. Mariner Hodge says bet on Taylor not to win a single foul.
Is that all season or just next game?
Just any game, I think. All season, yeah. All season. He's allowed 1.5 under. Ben Bristow says bet on a sub being made before the 75th minute. The odds on that would be incredible.
Didn't we do that yesterday?
Yeah, I'm sure we did. He's pretty good with his subs now, but it's still funnier to say that he doesn't.
No, I think it's unfair. He got his subs in, for example, in the playoff final. It was before the 60th minute. He realised that Solihull had dropped so deep, so he took Rico off and brought JMD on, and JMD won us the game. Whether you want the goal or the dummy, or even the ball across the box that McAtee couldn't quite finish before, that would have been the winner. That was an early substitution he got right, or bringing Fox on at half time at Notts County in the league. So the Hurst late sub merchant is a bit of a myth these days. It was true in his first spell, but I think it's an element of his management. He's improved quite significantly.
Oh yeah, I absolutely agree. But it's a lot funnier to say it isn't.
I mean, we're still bringing Parslow on, aren't we? Let's be honest.
Which, by the way, we've got that euphemism all the way wrong because they brought him on and we didn't get the win. That was the point. It wasn't that he came on to save the point.
No, it's the thing. No, this is the thing that people. He brought him on a lot, and we held on. People only remember that day at Chester when we were 2-0 up, and he brought him on with 15 minutes to go, and we drew. There were loads of other occasions when he brought him on, and we won. I like Daniel Parslow,
and he will die on that hill. These are Sam's hot takes so far. He's really sort of embedding himself. He's like, right, these are what I'm standing on. Daniel Parslow was underrated and was a linchpin of that season. What have we got? I hate.
Stop. This is here we go. You see, this is it. You're taking my words out of context.
All right, Trump.
This is typical left-wing media bias. I say one thing and you take it over. You take it the other way. What was the other one?
I'm staying clear to my principles. I'm not just being a contrarian.
Daniel Horsey can't finish was the other one.
Daniel Horsey can't finish his dinner.
Yeah, and he didn't like Marina Hodo filming. I know what he meant. Marina Hodo, that's a joke. He meant other people, not the people that put it together.
Don't come for me again, Marina Hodo. I've spent all week in perpetual fear, wandering the street.
I kind of hope that Marina Hodo will come up behind you and just take his lampshade hat off and put it over your head and pull you into a van just to have a quiet word.
I'll film it.
And film it. That's an entirely different thing. Ollie's saying Sam Goldbridge. There we go. But I think we're done, gentlemen, aren't we? We've been waffling on for a while. We kind of did we got a second wind halfway through that after discussing.
Nothing's happened this week, has it? Apart from the game, there's been no kind of Papillon debacle. There's been Hurst hasn't been going to Rotherham again.
It's been nice, hasn't it? This is? I'll tell you something. This is really boring. I miss the club being in like
to the top of the pod, wasn't it? Isn't it nice to have a really boring season? And obviously, if you offered me promotion now, I'd take it. But 11th and safe by Christmas, yeah, that sounds nice to me.
It sounds so dull, doesn't it? Like they know. Simon, don't ask us that. Thoughts on the Lee Blees situation? I saw it. I really like Lee on a personal level, and we've done quite a bit together actually. And his photos are outstanding. I guess my thoughts on it are that he wanted to be paid. I think he's been asking for a while if he could be paid, and the club have decided that they're only going to pay for one guy to take the photos. And I guess I think it could have probably been handled a little better, and it's a shame if Lee can't do it and he isn't going to get paid for it. But the club they've got a budget to stick to, and if they wanted to go with the other guy, I don't know who it is, then that's their sort of prerogative to do so. I don't know if anybody else wants to add to it, and it's a shame that someone like Lee's, if he feels it's been sort of handled badly, then hopefully the club can learn from it and repair any damage that's happened, because he's been around town for as long as I remember, and it'd be a sad thing to lose him.
I think that's fair. Just the way it's gone feels like it could have been handled better on all sides, potentially, but obviously we don't know the full ins and outs. Like you say, Lee's been around the club for a long time, home and away. But as you said, the club are obviously making decisions based on they are looking at one photographer, and unfortunately they've decided that that's not Lee. And at the end of the day, we've got to trust their judgment on that.
That is Ian's penis. It's nothing. It's nothing else.
What?
I think it's his dog. Yeah.
It's my dog that suddenly decided she's going to try and go to sleep and snore on me.
That dog looks like the dog out of Futurama.
Nibbler.
Wait. Yeah, no, the dog that waits outside Fry's Pizzeria all the day.
Oh yeah, I know the one you mean.
Thoughts on the current economic crisis, Sam? I'll let you take that one.
That's completely unfair.
I think it
The
could be
Chancellor has
better,
made a
Ollie.
statement. The Prime Minister has made a statement.
When is it being revoked?
Write to your MP.
Put all your money into crypto. It's safer than the UK gilt market.
I'll stop coming on here if I get asked political questions. I get to deal with that at work all bloody week. I don't want to do it on here.
Oh, I think we've lost Alex. See,
No,
that,
the economic
well,
crisis
you can
hit.
do.
you asked him a
Yeah,
political
that's it.
question and used your contacts to kick him off his own pod.
Yes, bloody again. Look, we've got a recording we did with the Scarf Bagara War. We've never done this before, so I'm going to stick around. So if it starts to play up, just say something in the content and I'll turn it off and I'll release it separately and put it on the pod as one. But with that, thank you, everybody. Sam, I do love you. Thank you very much for joining us.
No problem. I'll be at Stockport next week.
It sounds so defeated. Not much like the
I was
political
wondering
party
to
supports.
myself last because I thought it was almost sort of veiled last week, and I thought to myself, how long is this going to take before it kind of the mask comes down and just go for it?
Sam works in politics, so he's a very nice guy. He does the legwork, and I assume he does very decent work, and then it gets ignored. Ian, thank you so much for joining us.
No problem. Thanks for having me back again.
The door is always open, and it's nice to see you finally got a Sunday off. So whoever's working you to the bone, or if you're lying to us and not coming on, then it's going to be found out.
I must add, to be fair, I know you've mentioned this, and I feel bad just in case anyone from my work is watching. It is pool that I'm normally doing on a Sunday, Alex.
Oh, is it? Okay, fine. Oh, well, it's something more important. We'll just do it from the pool hall. Where are you at? What's it called? Oh, I've forgotten the name of the pool hall.
You thinking of Q World?
I'm thinking of Q World, yeah. That's the one.
It's not there. It's not there anymore. Well, the Q World is, but it's not where I'm playing. I'm usually playing at the lounge nowadays.
You sound like a jazz artist. Brilliant.
It's the shots I don't play that are the ones you've got to watch.
As once was said by Darren Mansaram. That's a reference. Right. Okay. Well, thank you all very much for listening. I'll leave us with our preview with the brilliant Scarf Bagara War. I'll go on there and tell them how much of a hatchet man Challoner is later on this week. But in the meantime, thank you for joining us, and we'll speak to you all very soon. See you later, guys. Bye.
Behind, so that's the final action of the game, which means Grimsby Town are back in the Football League just a year after those awful scenes.
This would suggest that we plan the podcast to any nth of a degree, but Russ has been kind enough to join us to give us a preview as we sit here like Rudd, whatever his name is, Mike Rudd, whatever his name is, just sitting there. What's his name? The bloke that never ages. Who's Ant-Man?
Oh, Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd, that's it. Just say, look at us. Who'd have thought it? Not us two, not me. Russ, welcome back to the Football League.
Thank you very much.
I hope you're, as we were talking just before, I hope you're enjoying, football highlights before June. What's been the experience so far? And is it all, it's a good question actually will be, is it what you wanted it to be? And now you're here, is there a bit of a, okay, well, that goal's achieved. What's our next step?
It's a really good question. I mean, it's funny actually because when we got back up after 11 years out, and we've got fans who've never seen us in the Football League. We go back a long way, but we finally got back up, and then our first 3 matches were Harrogate, Stevenage, and Barrow. So we may as well just be in the National League. So the first proper one was Colchester. That's when we all realised, we're back, and they were terrible. So I think yesterday, actually, as it happens, so it's quite a good time. That was the time we realised we're back. 18,000 away at Bradford, and sneak a 1-0 win. So it's I wouldn't say it's been. We've been disappointed on the pitch, as you'll know, but just honestly, just not having to play Bromley or any of that other shite that Chesterfield,
Don't
Wrexham, and that are
fucking
still
start
playing.
me with
Bromley, yeah, of course, yeah.
the second that bloke, that walking heart attack gets fired, I'm having a party.
So yeah, it's been good. It's been good. It's just good to be back, and some of our fans, the natives, are getting restless because everyone's we want to get to the championship in like 5 years or something, because that's what we're all. I've got some good news on the ground, by the way, for you. You'll enjoy that.
Oh, good.
Yeah, everyone's the natives are getting restless, but it's slowly coming round. Yeah, we're enjoying it.
What was so I mean, when you got here, has it opened up opportunities? Because obviously you guys are a little bit splash for cash at the moment, but one of the things that we quite liked is that obviously youth funding gets put back. Has that meant that money can go elsewhere? And I guess you're talking of good news, infrastructure projects and the like. Sort of the TV, I assume that the big screen has fallen down a little bit, so it's created a roof. Has it been allowed to, free up funding and change it, or has there been not much of a change since the turn of the season?
Yeah, it's not in terms of infrastructure. You won't see much of a change when you come next week, but the plans have been released to increase the stadium capacity to 20,000. New stands with corners, a new fan zone outside the Cheadle end, and making it all sustainable. So talking to the residents, putting a new business centre in there. So yeah, all being well, the stand that is uncovered is the first one to be knocked down and started again. It's going to look about the same size as the Cheadle stand, which is the big one opposite end.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all being well. That'll start June 2023.
And it's got a roof.
And it'll have a roof.
Go on.
They'll all have roofs.
Every time I go to Stockport, it pisses it down. Whether it be that one when it was like in the nighttime, and then there was an FA Cup great game years ago, like 2001. Every time I go, it absolutely pisses it down. But I'm glad. It's nice to see. And I guess, I mean, what's happening now? I've got 20 quid on you guys going straight through. So that money seems to be wasted at the moment. What's happening? Is it because you've got up and it's like that energy and that? And also another question, actually, on this Wrexham documentary, are you slightly disappointed that you're just called Stockport? Everybody else has their actual name, but you're being set up almost like. I noticed for us as well in like the third episode or whatever it was, where they're talking, we play them. They are like, trying to set the piece. They will lose to these, but we are a great historic club. Neither team should be down here. They made up this fake league where we were running away with it with 97 points. Like, oh, that's brilliant. Love it.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, I mean, I'm not too disappointed. In fact, on the latest episodes, because they sort of brush over the fact that they lost the league.
Yeah,
they brush over it a bit from our perspective, but they actually call us Stockport County at the end. Yeah,
you get the respect you deserve.
Yeah. It's funny. It's really funny how they brushed over it though, because they sort of went when they beat us 3-0 towards the end of the season. Sort of like that, it was their penultimate game, their last home game. Yeah, they did go top of the league, but we had 2 games left. They only had 1. They had to go to Dagenham away, and we had 2 home games, Torquay and Halifax. They were the documentary portrayed it as if they were in pole position to win the league. Players on the pitch with the kids in the concourses singing, "We are top of the league. We are top of the league." Cutting to people going, "Yeah, oh yeah, I think we can do it. I think we can do it." And then it said. And then the Welsh girl comes on, the translator.
Yeah.
She just narrates that inconspicuously. She just narrates, and in the week, Stockport won their game in hand and put them 3 points clear. It's like, but you've just spent 5 minutes eulogizing over you being top of the league. It was pretty funny.
That reminds me of the Mike Bassett thing where he's absolutely effing and jeffing, and then it cuts to black, and then Christian Guru Murphy comes on and goes, "England lose." Instead, that's quite good. I mean, we're looking forward to the end of it. Hopefully, we get more of a passing joke about fish.
Well, I think the next 2 episodes must be about Grimsby, because because episode 15, I think, is the latest one. It might be 16, I'm not sure. But they cut the end is they've lost the league. Next, it's the playoffs and the FA Trophy final. So
yeah,
I'm sure it'll be all about Grimsby.
It'll just be an hour's worth of why this is offside and why that isn't offside. But I mean, our friends down in the National League aside, which by the way, they don't look like they're having too much of a fun with it at the moment. So I mean, you're up. You're what?
Yeah.
Currently, what, 15th? 9th?
Yeah, 15th, 16th. Well, it's funny because on our podcast, I've not drawn comparisons with Grimsby, but I'll tell you where Grimsby comes in because obviously we both went up from the National League. We sort of got 8 or 9 new players, sort of really good league quality players. Shipped off a load that were sort of surplus to requirements from last year, and because we've had this poor start, the jump was too high. The jump was more than we thought actually, and it wasn't a settled side. And Challinger's still trying to search for his way of playing in this league. Everyone, loads of our fans have said, "Well, yeah, but Grimsby are okay. They've done all right. They've hit the ground running." And I'm thinking, yeah, but Grimsby, you probably haven't. I mean, I don't know. You tell me, but you probably haven't had wholesale changes, have you?
So of the players that we asked to stay, only one said no.
Right.
And he's gone to Northampton because it just suited him better.
Right.
So all in all, we're just, wandering around where, Paul Mullen or Paddy Madden is for us. Like, where's our goal scorer? Because ours has gone to Luton and then come back 30 seconds later and go, no, he's going to be out for 6 months, which is entertaining.
So he left for Luton, then got injured.
So John McAtee's been bought by Luton.
Oh, saw that. Yeah. Oh, they loaned him back.
Yeah, they loaned him back for the season. Now, when we were going, he injured his shoulder at Kings Lynn because it's just fucking concrete up there, and hurt his arm. And then they were like, okay, well, he'll be all right for the rest of the season. Scored in the playoff final, and I think when Luton actually have a proper medical team going, well, we'd rather he get it fixed on your time than ours. So he'll be off till Christmas. So, brilliant. Thanks, guys. That's really appreciated.
Fair dues.
So we're kind of scrambling around and everybody, but we play with one guy up front. We play with Taylor up front and he's fine, but he's one of those sort of Emil Heskey types. Well, he lets others score, which would be nice if they did. But that's I'll get pelters for that. But yeah, it's we don't score enough at times. We're not prolific enough, but it'll be all right. But what about you guys? Where are you falling down? Where are the problems?
Same as what you've described for Grimsby. We can't score. So all the stats, including all of the XG and all that kind of stuff, all point to being better than teams that we play. It's just the putting it in the back of the net. That the all important stat isn't stacking up for us. So and what tends to happen, or what's been happening up until recently. I mean, yesterday I'll come on to that in a second, but up until recently, we tend to have a good half an hour to start with, or a good 45, and that time has been increasing more recently. Up to yesterday, we'll have a period of play, and then if we don't score from it, or even if we do, the other team comes back, and like Stevenage, Walsall, Swindon, they'll come back and Northampton, they'll come back and just take the points, because we tend to lose our way a bit. But he's slowly solving that puzzle, which happened yesterday at Bradford away. Bradford unbeaten at home, got Paul Cook. Is it Paul Cook up front?
Andy Cook, yeah,
Andy Cook,
town man.
Yeah, really good player. It was like he wasn't on the pitch. Fraser Horsfall had him in his back pocket all match. And we limited them to, I think it was 2 shots on target. We had 10 plus, I think. So not shots on target, but we had a lot more than they did. So, and it was good, and we played them at their own game in front of 18,000 of their own fans. So yesterday was we're hoping was a bit of a turning point for us.
That must be nice though. Did you go? Because that must be quite nice. Go to Valley Parade in like proper ground. It's not Harrogate anymore.
Exactly. Yeah, it's funny because my lad, his first game was Boston at home in the National League North 2014.
Okay.
And I always said to him growing up, I said, look, we should be Football League, really, you know. And when we get there, you'll see. And yesterday was a bit of like an emotional moment because he was just like, what? That these are the teams that we should be playing week in, week out. I mean, it's kind of did the same for Grimsby and, you know, all the and Chesterfield, you know, but Bradford's is something else, isn't it? You know, it's championship quality in it, Bradford's ground.
Yeah, it's brilliant, and they do pack it, which is always great. But they are perennial Division 4, though. Let's be honest.
Yeah, for some reason I don't know. Yeah,
well, if you're going to charge £100 for a season ticket, you're not going to have much of a budget left, are you? Whether you've got 25,000 season ticket holders or not. But it's going to be interesting then. So I guess yesterday was a reprieve. There are quite a few gleefully town fans rubbing their hands together that the old Grimsby Reaper might be getting his side out for Challoner, which they would love. Has he been reprieved after yesterday's game? Because we all heard that guy, though it sounded like he wasn't necessarily the majority, saying that, look, it's time for him to go. He's got to move on. I guess that's sort of died down now, is it?
Yeah, I mean, he's in the absolute minority. He's a whopper. I saw that. Yeah, I saw that online on my BBC Radio Manchester. Yeah, he's in the absolute minority. We're gonna most fans want to give him time. I mean, when you're not winning matches, the natives get restless anyway, don't they? And some people, I think it's this everything now. Somebody needs to be sacked generation. You know, when you lose a couple of matches, well, I want someone sacking for that. Well, that's not how it works. So yeah, he's got plenty of time. What we can see is the improvements are happening with every passing game. So we might have a setback. We might have a setback on Saturday against your lot, but we can see overall that it's going in the right direction. So he's under. I don't think he's under any pressure whatsoever.
And since you played us last time, there's been a question mark of a discipline, is a want of a better phrase, in terms of sendings off and stuff. Now, I mean, no Grimsby fan would ever suggest that that would come from the manager. Has that been sort of, has that been bottled up now, and is it under control, or do we have to buy extra large shin pads?
I don't think it was ever out of control. I mean, okay, we've had is it 6 red cards? I want to say 6, which sounds out of control, doesn't it? But there was only one.
That your player should never have punished that toddler.
There was only one of those red cards, and it was by Paddy Madden, where I thought, well, that's just, he shouldn't be doing that, and he stamped on a player in anger because we were losing, and he just got frustrated. And I say stamped. It wasn't like, outside the pub stamp. He was walking past as the guy was on the floor, and he just sort of put his foot.
Okay, like Beckham sort of thing.
Yeah, like a thing like that. The others have all been second bookings, or in fact, they've all been double bookings. Oh no, Macaulay South of Males. He got sent off against Doncaster away because he was grappling with Danny Rowe, and
I mean, that's acceptable.
Yeah, and his hand just came up, and it sort of went like that against Danny Rowe. And Danny Rowe was like, and the linesman was just a grass. He was like, do you know what I mean? So yeah, I don't think it's a problem. Some of our fans have said it's a disgrace, but I think you've got to be on the needle, haven't you? You've got to be on the edge within the laws of the game.
That's a shame. We would love nothing more than a sort of a Challoner, sort of desolation and sort of it all coming unhinged. Like, I don't know if we've ever talked about it, but Steve Evans was once escorted out of the ground by police at Blundell Park.
Really?
I don't think I've ever heard of another manager being told to leave, and he had to sit on the bus, which is very funny. That's interesting then, and I guess. Are there plans to sort of restructure or sort of strengthen in the winter, or do you think you've got the right lot in charge, or are there some big gaps? Sort of, you go, actually, we need probably a right-sided midfielder, or
No, we need a striker. We need somebody up front. I mean, we've got Paddy Bandon and Kyle Wootton. They'll
That's
start.
not bad.
I know it's not bad. They'll start on Saturday. Kyle Wootton had a really good game yesterday. Actually, he's been getting some pelters for not scoring goals, but people who watch the matches see he does a lot more than that. But we've got those two, and Connor Jennings is the backup. But Connor Jennings, I don't know if you know, he had cancer in his arm.
Yes.
Yeah, and
he's former Mariner, isn't he? Played for us.
Did he? Connor Jennings did.
So.
All right,
I'm pretty sure. I'm saying that with confidence, like I said last time. Jordan Cropper used to play for you. He played for Chesterfield. Connor Jennings, he did play for Town.
He's been about a bit. Connor Jennings.
He did. 2014, he was on loan for us there again.
He's a Stockport lad. I mean, he's at the twilight of his career. He's back up, and there's a general consensus that if he comes on, then we're
out of ideas.
Out of ideas, really, yeah. And he's bless him. He's. I think the injury, the cancer, has really set him back. So, but we haven't got any other options. So yeah, we need a striker in January. I think that's what we'll get. We'll go out and get one probably.
It'd be us two beating each other to try and get some bloke then, because
at
the moment we've got a guy from Luton on loan that isn't McAtee, who's from Canada and has never played league football before and is basically a daddy long legs. It works. I mean, look at our third goal yesterday where he's able to like fall over two defenders to leave Taylor open. So I mean that's a skill, at least. But we're probably in the same thing. How have you found like the standard of officiating and stuff? That's always something we've tended to moan about. Sort of, it's not brilliant up here, but it's not National League bad.
Yeah.
But have you seen an improvement?
Slight, I would say, only slight. I mean, some of them have come up, haven't they, with us both. My mate who's a county fan, he's an ex-referee himself, and he knows a lot of the referees, so he gives me some tidbits on who they are and what to look out for and things.
Does he?
Yeah.
So are there any referees? So like we've got a couple of referees. So Declan Bourne, I think it's Paul Ross Joyce, and there's a Carl Boyson in there. We don't like them. We hate them. I wonder if referees have the same sort of, I fucking don't want to go to. I don't want to go to Grimsby.
I wouldn't put it past him, you know. I mean, the one that I got, I'm not sure if I should say this. I'm not. The one that I got the other day off my mate was, and I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say too much, but basically he said, this one's going to be a liner for us against Bradford, and he replied, well, I'm gonna basically shit ours the county elites, ultras. That's what he said. Yeah. So looking forward to shit ours in the county ultras. I mean, I'm sure it was tongue in cheek, and I'm sure he wouldn't do that, you know, ethically and professionally. But that's, do you know what I mean? They've got to, you know, they're only human at the end of the day, aren't they? So
yeah. I do like that idea that the referee is going out there to shithouse.
Yeah, could you imagine that? Like really doing it. I hate Grimsby. I'm just gonna shithouse all their fans while I'm there.
But yeah, it was like yesterday. Poor Crawley. They scored after. I think it was a legitimate goal, but it took ages for them to decide it. Hang on, my camera's just gone. Give me 3 seconds. What's it going on? There we go. That's nicer, isn't it? He took ages and then made such a flamboyant show of disallowing the goal. So I don't know if he's got some shit food down there, but he doesn't like Crawley. Doesn't like crypto.
Maybe that's it. Yeah.
What are your hopes for then on Saturday? I mean, like anybody knows, but what are your hopes for us coming along? Good crowd, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean it should be a good crowd. We've sold 5,500 season tickets, so they'll all be there. Probably add 1,500 to 2,000 on top of that, I would say, and then whatever you bring. We've been getting crowds of 8. Oh, have you? Brilliant. I mean, so it should be 8,000 or 9,000. Then I would suspect. We're expecting to carry on and improve and get. We're hoping to get another win. Or expecting to improve, hoping to get a win. But it's just Peak County that now we've got our first away points back in the Football League for 11 years yesterday because we'd lost all of our away matches. Peak County that we'll just go and get beat at home now, where we've had a good, pretty decent record. So who knows? Who knows?
We can't have much of a decent record at your place. I can't remember. I think we've drawn once. Was the last time I remember like getting excited about Stockport because we absolutely got tanked by you in the trophy when we were sort of in the deer of our thought form. But
didn't you beat us in was it the Johnston's Paint at the time back pre 2011?
Probably.
I'm sure you did at our place. You beat us to go through to like the semi-final. I think
that sounds about right.
Yeah,
it does sound about, but I don't. All I remember, I say it to Crew fans as well, is that we just used to get each other in the FA Cup. FA Cup third round day. We're in the Championship. We're going to get Man United, lads. Yeah, okay, brilliant. Stockport away, great. No one wants to do that. Neither Stockport or Grimsby fans. And then we lose 2-1, and then you go and get Arsenal in the next round or something. But look, it's going to be fun. Nice to see you back. And we'll speak soon because both of us have got stuff to do. And Russ, thank you very much for joining us. Speak to you in a bit.
Cheers, mate. See you later.
And that's it. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope you had a great evening. I stuck around to make sure nothing broke. We might try doing them a couple of times every now and then, but there we go. Thank you all so much for taking the time to listen to the podcast. We'll see you all next Sunday. And in the meantime, if you're going to Stockport, drive safe, and we'll see you soon. Thanks. Bye.
Open wide for some soccer!
And now the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office on behalf of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency at 1130. Go! At 1130.
They've done it! They've done it! It's Maguire Drew! They've done it again, this team!
Grimsby are heading back to the Football League.
Love it.